Let's do another example. If I want to get only odd numbers, that is, instead of adding +1 to the previous number, I need to add +2. So 1 plus 2 will be 3, 3 plus 2 will be 5, 5 plus 2 will be 7, and so on. Since this step now is more than +1, we need to specify it. So let's say the step is 2. So add increment of +2 to each number. And here we are, we have 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Let's try another example by having a bigger range. So instead from 1 to 10, let's have it from 1 to 1000. And instead of including all the numbers, let's only list the numbers with an increment of 10 between the previous and the next values. So let's run this code. So when we run the code, you see here now the numbers are listed from 1 to 1000, but the increment, the difference between two numbers is 10. So 1 plus 10 is 11, 11 plus 10 is 21, and so on. And this is the benefit of the list box. You can see here the vertical scroll bar is created so that there is no need to increase the size of the form or even the size of the tool. Another example, if I want to do it opposite, I want to list the numbers in a decreasing order instead of increasing order. So I want to start with the largest number and finish at the smallest number. So what we do, I want to start, let's say, from 1000 to 1. Now, if you want to list the numbers in a decreasing order, be careful, the step has to be in negative. The step has to be in negative. So let's say that I want to list these numbers from 1000 to 1. So I'm adding here a negative sign. Let's see how this will work. Run the program. You can see the number are decreasing between the two values. So this is decreasing order. Be extra careful. For decreasing order, use a minus sign. Let's now work on more complex example using the for next loop. In this example here, we're going to have 3 columns. So this is column 1, column 2, and column 3. And each of these 3 columns, each of these 3 columns has its own title. So first column is X, second column Y, and third column Z. Now the challenge here is we need to keep the title of the columns appears only once at the top of the columns. We're not going to repeat, we don't want to see the titles repeated again and again because we are using for next. It has to be a state fixed constant at the top of each column. Now value of X, it ranges between 1 and 10, and value of Y, it ranges also between 1 and 10. But the values of X will not change from the previous value to the next value unless all the range of Y is completed. So X will start with its first value, that is 1. Y will start with its value, that's also 1. But X will keep repeating its same value 10 times until all the numbers in the range of Y finishes. So it will go from 1 up to 10. 10 is the last number in the range of Y. So it will start again here 1. When it starts again 1, then the value of X will change to the next value, which is 2. Again, 2 will be repeated 10 times as long as the values of Y is listing it from 1 up to finishing the range 10. So when it reaches 10, so when it reaches 1 again, then the value of x will change to 3, and so on. Value of z is a summation of x and y. So z will be equal to x plus y. So whatever the value of x will be added to the value of y to get the value of z. 1 plus 1 is 2, 1 plus 2 is 3, 1 plus 3 is 4, and so on. Let's go now and code this example. To code this example, let's press process button. And now we have 3 variables, x, y, and z. All of them are integers, so let's declare them first. int x, int y, and int z. And all of them integers. From the example I just explained, we have 2 loops, one for x that ranges from 1 to 10, and one for y that ranges from 1 to 10. And z will not need a loop because it is a summation of x and y only. Let's combine the 2 loops inside each other. And we saw in the example that y, it depends on x, because x will start its value first, and it will change its value to the next one until all the values, all the range of integer y will be listed. We'll start with 4 int x, that is equals from 1 to 10, with an increment of +1, so there is no need to type the step. And inside this loop for the x, and we'll not forget it is next int x. Inside this loop, we'll create a loop for y. So for int y, with ranges start from 1 to 10. Also no need for any steps here because the increment is +1. And this is next int y. Now we have the value of x will be assigned from the range 1 to 10, and the value of y will be assigned from the range from 1 to 10. So let's assign what will be the value of z. int z is the summation of x and y, so a simple equation, int x plus int x plus int y. Very good. So now we have all the 3 values, y, x, y, and z. How to displace them? Again, it is in the list box. So lst dot items dot add, and the first value we'll add is the x, so int x. The next value is y. To combine both variables in the same line, so we'll use the ampersand sign. So and int y. And the third variable, just the and sign, int z. So all the variables x and y and z will appear in the same line of the list. And by this we are done. Let's see how it works. Very good. So we have first column for x, it's 1, 1, 1, 1, 10 times repeated. Second column for y, 1, 2, 3 up to 10, and it changes its value to 1. Then the value of 2 start with the next value, then the value of x start with the next value. And the third column of z, it is the summation of x and y. 1 plus 1, 2, 1 plus 2 is 3, and 1 plus 3 is 4. But there is a problem here. We see that all the 3 columns are very close to each other. You cannot say that they are 3 separate columns. One way to do this is to add a quotation. So let's do this, a quotation mark with 1 space from the space bar, and then ampersand. So this is between X and Y. And I repeat this, a quotation with 1 space, and then another and sign. If I want to be separated by 1 space, or if I want to have 3 spaces between the 2 columns, the 3 columns, let's see how this will work. When we enter and press, yes, now they are separated, but they are separated with 3 columns. This can be a solution, but the best solution is to use the tab. Now we are coding, so we cannot use tab from the keyboard. However, we can code it. So instead of using quotation, we'll use the VB code. It's called VB tab. And so I will delete the quotation and I'll replace it with VB tab. VB tab will assure that the spacing between the columns will be exactly the same, and it will give enough space between the columns. So let's see now how it works. It works perfect. Now we have exact same space between the columns, and they are separated with enough space. Now you can see, you can tell that we have 3 different columns. Last thing we need to add in the example here is the title of the columns. Now the title should be X, Y, and Z. We have to be careful. The titles should not be repeated. It should only be shown as in the top of each column. For this purpose, or for this reason, the title of the 3 columns should be typed outside of the 4 next block. And it should be typed at the beginning before the starting of the block. And we'll use the same code where we have used it for the values of the 3 variables. But now, instead of using the values, we need only to show the title, that's the string. So string, so we need to start with quotation. And the first one is X. And then the second one also, quotation. And then it is Y. Close the quotation mark. And the last one is quotation mark, open it. It is for Z, and close the quotation mark. Here, first it is outside the loop. Second, it's between quotation marks, so X, Y, Z, these are between quotation marks, so they will appear as we are typing them. They will not be variables, they will be strings. So when we now press on process button, we see X, Y, and Z. They are exactly above each column. X above the X column, Y above the Y column, Z above the Z column, because we are using the same code and spacing, and they are not repeated, they are only appearing at the top of each column. So this solves that example, and it shows how we create loops, a for next loop inside another one.